which can be accessed through the internet. And to understand how cloud computing works, it can be divided into front end and back end. So first of all, I would like to thanks to all of the audience because can attending the event today and hopes all of you was in pink of health. So with me, Azila as your chairperson today. Okay, without wasting our time, let me introduce to all of you about our special and beautiful speaker today, Miss Daphne Chong. And this is our second female speaker over 9 talk session. And I'm introduced to you. She is a partner technology strategist at Microsoft, and her previous experience, Chief Technology Officer at Logistic Worldwide Express, founder and CEO of DataSmart and Superjazz, and director of Women Who Code KLs. So, hello, Miss Daphne. How are you today?
Hello, Miss Nurazila. Thank you for this opportunity to speak to everyone. I'm very well, thank you. Hope you are well too.
So, since it is a long journey, which is over 20 years of technical experience and over 10 years of leadership in tech industry, I'm pretty sure that you have a good experience in it. So, can you share to us?
Yes, I would love to. Yes. Shall I share my screen?
Yes, please.
Okay, let me try this. Okay, I think you should be able to see my screen. Let me know if you can't. Maybe it is still loading, yeah?
Yep, it is loading.
Okay. Can you see my screen now?
Yes, miss.
Thank you. So thanks again, Miss Azila, and thanks everyone who attend this session. I know today you do not have any university course on, so it's your free day, but thanks anyway for joining the session. Also like to thank University Malaysia Sabah for this opportunity. I know it doesn't uh, it's not easy to bring together a series of talk like this. So yeah, I think even I appreciate it. I'm sure the students appreciate it too. So today I'm going to talk to you about understanding cloud computing through Microsoft Azure. A little bit about what I do at Microsoft. My job title is Partner Technology Strategist. So at Microsoft, in this region, the APAC region, which is the Asia Pacific, we do not sell directly to customers. We sell through partners. And we have many partners in this region, including services partners and independent software vendors. So I manage about 12 independent software vendors in this region, about 4 in Malaysia, 3 in Thailand, a couple in Sri Lanka, 1 in Vietnam, and 1 in Indonesia. And what do these independent software vendors do? They produce software which they deploy on Microsoft cloud infrastructure, which we call Microsoft Azure. Some of these companies, they develop learning management system. Some develop supply chain monitoring systems. Some develop cloud point of sale system, HR system, loyalty systems, chatbots, and various other systems like this. Okay. So I build a relationship with these partners, and I encourage them to adopt the latest Microsoft cloud technologies. And my passion is to enable these software companies in the region to innovate and achieve more and be globally competitive. So my LinkedIn username is Daphne CYS. So feel free to connect with me. So let's start with what is the cloud. Okay, this is one definition of the cloud: the practice of storing regularly used computer data on multiple servers that can be accessed through the internet. Okay, so I'm going to take you on this journey to explain to you what is cloud and what is Microsoft Cloud, and what you can do with cloud technologies. So Microsoft, we have 160 plus data centers. Oh, sorry, I'll go back. All right, I'm trying to find a pointer. I hope this is a pointer. Let me try. 160 plus data centers in the cloud. Sorry, not in the cloud, I mean around the world. Okay, so these are data centers. You can see there are some in North America, South America, quite a few in Europe, some in Japan, Asia, Korea, some in India, Africa, and Southeast Asia. And I'll explain to you what's coming next. And these data centers are all interconnected with 100,000 miles of fiber optic and subsea cable in 150 plus edge locations. Okay, so these are the different Azure regions, right? The dotted ones are available regions. The one which is sorry, the full solid one is available. The dotted one is announced region, and that's availability zones. Actually, we can, it's not shown very clearly here. We have one availability zone in Singapore, Southeast Asia. Okay, Singapore is our current data center. And we have announced this year, Microsoft is launching data centers both in Malaysia and Indonesia. So within 2 to 3 years, we are going to have our own Microsoft data center in Malaysia as well. So 61 Azure regions is more than our competitors. Amazon Web Service, AWS, and Google Cloud Platform combined. Okay, so these are some of the other names in cloud computing. You may also hear about Huawei Cloud and Ali Cloud, which is run by Alibaba, and also IBM Cloud. So these are all the different public cloud vendors who are also our competitors. All right, what does it look like? What does a data center look like, right? So this is one image of one of our data center. You can see individual buildings, and each of these buildings contain lots of computers, okay? And this is another picture that shows you what is part and parcel of a data center, and you can see how the data center is constantly under construction, right? And these are very large sites. They are usually, you know, several football fields in size, right? Quite large. And what is the inside the data center? What does it look like? So it's filled with racks of computer that looks like this, okay? So each one of these line is a computer. A computer typically has, you know, storage, compute. So it may have a hard disk or a solid state drive, SSD, processing chips like CPU, right? Graphic chips, GPU, or memory, RAM, right? All this all together form, you know, computing power. And this hardware sometimes fail, right? We constantly put in new ones, but the old ones may be faulty or fail. and maybe the network cable can fail as well. But that is all part and parcel of running an infrastructure in the cloud. So we have software monitoring system that hooks up all of these computers together. So in real time, we know which system has failed, which are running healthily, and we keep monitoring that. And even if maybe one component here has failed, we will not take out this computer. We will just fail over to the next healthy one, and your workload will continue to run in the cloud. Okay, so this is how we manage a cloud infrastructure. And we will schedule a network engineer like this person here who will come in, network or hardware engineer, of course, who will come into the data center and replace the faulty system, right, with new ones. Maybe he will take out the whole rack. Maybe he will replace the rack with a new one, or he will maybe replace individual parts in this rack. So this is how we keep the operation working 24/7 with minimal downtime to our customer. Okay, so I'm going to talk about various things, right, about cloud. And don't worry if you don't remember everything, but just remember that you have heard of it before, and you can always go and search online to find out more. And when you eventually use this technology, either when you are working or working on your own projects or maybe doing research in the future, and you are using cloud technologies, you can remember, right? Oh, yeah, I remember this mentioned before. I can go and do my own research and find out more. So this is a typical journey to the cloud. We tend to start from an on-premise infrastructure. On-premise is all the physical hardware that you can touch and feel in your own location, right? It can be a computer, a laptop, or typically in a company, organization, or a university, right? You may have a server, the server room, which contains servers, infrastructure, computers, or hook up together with networking to make sure that everybody in the same organization can connect to the resources and use the resources available to them, right? So this is what we call on-premises. When we move to the cloud, we tend to do a migration. We call this a lift and shift to the infrastructure platform. So IaaS stands for Infrastructure as a Service. Okay, so what it means is that whatever you have on premises, which is typically, you have the machine, you install the operating system on it, you install all your software tools on it, and you install your own programs on it, right? So infrastructure as a service means that you don't need to purchase any hardware. You just click on the virtual machine that you want, whether it is Windows or Linux. Linux has different flavors, right? CentOS, Ubuntu, these kind of flavors, Red Hat even. Turn it on, right? And you access it remotely, and you install your software on that virtual machine, right? It can be database, it can be your own software that you write, it can be software tools, and you install this on the virtual machine on this IaaS platform, all right? And this tends to be okay, right? Convenient, okay, but it is still not optimized in the cloud. So the next step, after you are familiar with the lift and shift, you may want to further develop your solution, right? You may want to innovate into a serverless infrastructure in a kind of managed container platform. Containers can be Docker, if you have heard of it. Docker is like a little whale icon. You containerize your solution and you can put it in a serverless infrastructure. We also have in Microsoft Azure the Azure Kubernetes services, which manages your containers for you, and scale it up and down depending on your requirement. And even further up from that, once you are, I mean, you can also innovate into a low code, no code platform. In Microsoft, we have this thing called the Power Platform, which is a low code, no code platform. You don't need to write a lot of software to create a mobile app or a web app or a solution or an automation flow, right? Automation flow. What you need to do is just drag and drop a few pieces of code, do the logic linking together, right? If, else, or some condition, while, do while, and you can create an app easily, right? Within a few hours, a couple of days, you can create an app, you can create a web portal, and this is what we call a low code, no code. Okay, this is the typical journey to the cloud. So I'm going to jump a little bit to different concepts now. All right, I'm going to talk about Azure availability zones. So along the way, the things that I'm sharing with you are just the different benefits of going to the cloud. Okay, one of the benefits of going to the cloud is to ensure business continuity from mission critical applications to backup. Okay, so I'm going to throw more jargons at you, but don't worry, I'm going to explain. Okay, you can always leave your questions in the chat and then I will try to explain further. So high availability, what does that mean? Sometimes you may create software that is mission critical. That means that you can't afford any downtime to your solution. Mission critical applications could be financial applications, right? You don't expect your bank to be closed or down. Your bank solution cannot be down if you want to access your money, right? So this is mission critical. What other things are mission critical? It could be sort of like weather monitoring system, especially in disaster areas. You may want to constantly monitor your weather satellite system. Uh, it could be military, it could be government, it could be hospital institution, right? Let's say you are trying to monitor the health of the patients in the ICU. You can't afford the system to be down. So these are mission critical applications. You need to ensure high availability. That means that the data cannot sit in one location only. What if this location has internet down? What if this location is, there are thefts or there are robbery or there are natural disaster like floods or earthquake or volcano? This kind of natural disaster could affect the availability of one location. All right. So what you tend to do is replicate your data to a minimum of one additional location at low latency so that the data and application uptime is preserved. So continuously, we will be copying one data from one location to data to a second location, right? It could be, for example, my main site is in Singapore because it is close to my users in Malaysia, but I want my replication to happen to Hong Kong, which is the next nearest region, in case Singapore has internet cut or like doesn't have enough power supply. We can fail over our users to Hong Kong and our users would not need to know that Singapore is down. Okay, so this is what we call high availability. If you want to have more than one region replicated with the data, you can have data replicated to the US, Europe, or China, or Australia. So this also helps with disaster recovery. Disaster recovery means, okay, one location is down, but you can still support it with another. Okay, I haven't explained the differences between these two very well. High availability could also mean that, let's say Singapore, we have too many users accessing the website and the servers are sort of full, right? But we can direct our users to Hong Kong where there are less users there, we can still serve up the data because the data is replicated in Hong Kong. All right, so this is high availability. And disaster recovery is when there's something went wrong, hardware failure, or location disaster. We can always bring up a second region and move our users across within minutes. Okay. Backup is very important. Either you may be attacked by intrusion like malware or virus, and you lose all your data, but at least you have a backup that you can restore. Or let's say there is a hardware failure that allows you to lose your data, but it's okay, you have a backup, right? So you can always back up to your latest backup, either 1 hour ago, a few minutes ago, or maybe yesterday, last week, or last month. So all these are managed by software in the cloud. You don't have to buy hardware to manage a different location, disaster recovery, or backup. You can, all these functions are available in Azure Cloud and in the cloud technology that helps you maintain your business, especially your mission critical applications, no matter what the situation, right? Okay, I'll move on. What are the other reasons to go to the cloud? Security is number one for Microsoft. Why? Because we have all these services, right? If you think about Microsoft, what do you think about? You may think about Xbox. You may think about Outlook, Hotmail. You may think about Bing, our search engine, MSN, our video channels. All these are Microsoft, even Office, right? Microsoft Office is a popular software. We have all these of our own software that we need to protect, and this is globally. And software attacks can happen very frequently. Our statistics show that I don't know if you know about ransomware. Ransomware is one of the attacks that software attacks that businesses tend to get. We detected 25,000 ransomware attacks every day at different organizations around the world. And this is only just one type of software intrusion, right? There are many types of malwares, viruses that could attack our system all the time. So that's why Microsoft invests a lot of money and resources in protecting the security of our infrastructure. And it is the same technology that we use to protect our customers' data in the cloud, because our customer trust us with their data and their application. When they host these solutions in the cloud, we need to protect them. So we have protection in terms of availability sets, availability zone, region pairs, and data residency boundaries. Okay, I think I am explaining something different here, but let's go back to availability zones, all right, and sets. So if you can think about replication, we have one data center, right? One data center is one availability set. In here, I can go into a lot of details, but maybe it's not very interesting. But we make sure that when we do Windows updates, right? You are very familiar with Windows updates. Off and on, we will ask you to update either because there's some software changes or there is some security updates. We ask you to update your Windows, but we won't perform window update in the different availability set at different times, right? We will apply the software updates in different times. So if you have an availability set for your solution, we will make sure that not all of them are doing Windows update at the same time. If you imagine all of them doing the same time, your software will come down, right? It will stop working. So we will update them at different time to make sure that you maintain your high availability for your users. Region is sort of the same, right? If something goes down in one region, you can always fail over to another region. So it's there's more than one data center in one region, all right? But if you want better reliability, you may want to replicate to different regions, availability zones. And region pairs are like syncing pairs. One could be in Southeast Asia, one could be in China. If they are paired up together, that means that you can have what we call a geo-redundant storage. And this is important, for example, in case of natural disasters. Okay, this is more details about high availability HA and disaster recovery DR. And this is how we maintain high availability. So these are some of the numbers that you may come across when you talk about your service level agreement, right? SLA that you get from Azure, and in terms you can guarantee to your customers, right? We tend to talk about SLAs in terms of how many nines, right? 2 nines, 3 nines, 4 nines, or even 5 nines. What does that mean? 2 nines means 99% uptime. 3 nines means 99.9% SLA. It could be 99.92, it could be 99.95, but 3 nines, right? 4 nines means there's only 0.01% of downtime that you can expect with the service level agreement. So different products in the cloud have different SLA. And for example, hard disk could have by default 99.95% SLA, whereas 2 hard disks, you may be able to increase your SLA. Right? So this is how we talk about the amount of reliability that you can guarantee in turn to your customer. Okay, this was regions, I think, kind of like what we have talked about before, but independent power cooling network is all included in the cloud, right? Including the failover about the networking, right? There's no one single fiber path. So imagine if you are setting up your own cloud infrastructure at home, you will have to purchase different hardware, right? Put it in your data center in your home, one location. And how can you guarantee that your power, your electricity doesn't get cut? In Malaysia, sometimes we have electricity cut, sometimes we have water cut, right? So that means that our internet may fail, our service may fail, or even our cooling may fail. So we have to set up another data center, maybe in Penang, in Sabah, in Sarawak, or in Johor, to make sure that I have a failover, right? A failover location in case my region in Kuala Lumpur suddenly have no electricity. But in order to copy my data very quickly, right? I need to sync the data between the two data centers. I need very strong network, right? Fiber path connecting the two locations. So there's a lot of things you need to set up if you are doing your own cloud infrastructure. That's why we tend to pay people to manage all this cloud infrastructure for us. And with public clouds like Microsoft Azure, you pay what you use. You can shut down the computer when you're not using it, and it doesn't incur any charges. All right. You can even delete the resources and you get incurred no charges at all. Okay. So after I've explained all this, right? So what is cloud really? Actually, you can say cloud is a powerful way of deploying the latest and greatest technology anywhere in the globe at any time without any constraints and at any scale. So there's a lot of terms there which are important to explain why you want to use the cloud technology, right? So technology changes and updates very quickly, all the time, right? Every week there may be, I don't know, new software languages that you need to learn, software frameworks, new libraries, and there may be new hardware, new chips coming out, the latest graphic chips, the latest hard drives. All these things can get how do you say, like obsolete after a while. But you don't need to invest all this money in the hardware and worried about, hey, maybe my hardware is no longer, the latest and greatest, right? After 2 years, my computer is starting to get slow. There's not enough memory to run all my application. So in the cloud, you don't have to worry about that. You can scale as your businesses scale. Let's say in the beginning, you are just doing R&D, you're trying out a new product, proof of concept. You may just need a very simple server to run your software. And as you know, you do promotion, you give like vouchers to your customers, you suddenly have a spike, right? Maybe a influencer is very successful in promoting your software. Suddenly you have 20,000 users sign up together. So this is what the cloud is made for. You can just scale it up. You can even do auto scaling so that at the peak time during the influencer engaging with your customer, you can handle 20,000, 40,000 users at the same time, no problem. But okay, the weekend is over and you're going back to school and there's no users left on your platform because the influencer has gone to sleep, right? So there's only like 5 to 10 users. So then your auto scaling can come down and you only pay for the peak hour, a lot of internet cost. And then when the peak hour is over, you can run on the free tier. You can run on minimum cost. So this is what we call at any scale. Why anytime? Uh, the cloud is on 24/7, right? You can do work at night, at home. Even during the pandemic, when we are locked down, we can access everything in the cloud. We can still deploy our solutions. That's how businesses over the pandemic can survive, right? Um, the computers are not stuck in one location. It's actually in the cloud and can be accessible anywhere. Okay, I think I am running a bit out of time and maybe I'm going a bit slowly, but I just want to show you this one. Maybe it's not so important. Okay, this one may be important, so let me dwell on this one a little bit. So these are different services models in the cloud that you tend to see. We have on-premises that I explained before. Infrastructure as a service, we call it IaaS or IaaS, IaaS, PaaS, PaaS, or software as a service, SaaS. Okay, these are terms that you would hear once in a while. On premises, right? It's like you owning your own house. You have to build your own room, keep out the furniture, maintain the heating and air conditioning, cook your own breakfast, clean your own house, prepare your own dinner and drinks. And a vacation rental is where you have the room, the furniture, and the heating, but you have to find your own breakfast, you have to do your own cleaning, dinner, and drinks. In a hotel, maybe hotel can provide up to cleaning and dinner and drinks. You have to look for yourself, right? And in an all-inclusive resort, everything is provided. Okay, so these are the different models. So when it translates to internet cloud speak, what we have is on premises, you have to look after your own networking, storage servers, virtualization, operating system, middleware, runtime, data, and application. Whereas infrastructure as a service, you don't need to look after this. Microsoft manages this for you, right? In the purple ones. You only need to install your own operating system, middleware runtime, put in your database, data, and application. PaaS, platform as a service, you don't need to look after all this. Microsoft manages it for you. All you need to think about is your own application and your data. This is very important because you do what you do best, which is writing software, which is maintaining your own intellectual property. You think of an idea, you write a software, you save your own data, and this is what you do best. You don't need to look after the runtime, the network, the servers. You can let Microsoft manage this, and you can focus on your own intellectual property. Software as a service is like when you use Outlook, Dropbox, Netflix even, right? These are all software as a service. You just use it, right? You don't even need to write your own application or data. You don't need to manage any of this. So I think I can skip all this, but it just covers all the different things on the Azure cloud, including edge devices, stack. Maybe some other times I will talk about all these different technology, but HoloLens is maybe interesting one, like virtual reality is also a technology available in the cloud. We have web, mobile, mixed reality, containers, events integration, database, analytics, AI and machine learning, Internet of Things, and media. And on the infrastructure, we have compute, network, storage, security, and identity. Different types of tools are also on the cloud: Visual Studio, GitHub, Power Apps, Power BI. Okay. You can see we not only have Windows, we have Oracle, we have Linux, and these are all the different things. We can even connect multi-cloud, right? Azure, AWS, and Google Cloud can be connected together. And these are the different technology. You can just pick and choose from the cloud, right? This is not an exhaustive list, but just an example. HT Insights, I don't know if you study any of this, but yeah, even identity management, security, backup, networking, storage is all in the cloud. This is just another representation, so I won't dwell with it. This is what it looks like as your portal. We have time, I will show you a little bit, but maybe I'll just go through this part first. Earlier this year in April, Microsoft actually announced the plan to establish its first data center region in Malaysia as part of the Bersama Malaysia initiative to support the inclusive economic growth. Bersama Malaysia includes a commitment to scale up to an additional 1 million Malaysians by the end of 2023, collaboration across public and private sectors, and a formation of a My Digital Alliance Leadership Council. So what does it mean to you, right? We are establishing our data center region in Malaysia. We need to hire technologists like you to maintain our data centers, and also to be part of Microsoft. Like what I do, I help software vendors in the region to develop better software in the cloud. So these are the the opportunities for you to get on board, to learn all these things offered by Microsoft and Azure. And I welcome you to explore more. There is an Azure landing page. Just search for it, Azure landing page. You can sign up for a free account using your Microsoft Hotmail and Outlook, but you may need to attach a credit card to try this out, right? But you get $200 free credit for the first year. And even after the free credit has finished, there's a lot of free tier on the Azure cloud that you can use to run your own software, your own web application, your own mobile application. You can do that. Portal is where you manage everything. Register for the Microsoft Ignite, which is a conference, November 2nd to 4th. Just search for Microsoft Ignite and register. It's free. There's a lot of sessions where you can learn more about the cloud. There is the Ignite Challenge, Cloud Skills Challenge, that happens in November. And you complete one skills challenge inside there. And at the end, if you can complete it within 1 month, you get free Microsoft certification exam. Why? You ask me, why do I need to take another exam, right? I have so many exams at uni. But what you get is like a differentiation between you and the next job seeker next to you, right? You can, when you go for interviews, you can say, hey, look, I know about cloud. I am certified on Microsoft Azure. So what are the recommended certification you can do? Azure Fundamentals is one that I recommend. Azure Developer Power Platform is like the low code, no code tool that I told you about. You can even take the data scientist module. Some other learning materials, if you like, if you prefer to consume videos, that's Azure Friday, which is very popular, and other documentations that I leave here in the slides. So yeah, and also look out for jobs in careers.microsoft.com. We do have internship. We also have lots of openings. Just give yourself a chance. And that's the end of my presentation. Terima kasih. And I don't know if you have any questions. Should I take questions now? Miss Nuraliza, maybe I'll hand it over to you.
Okay, thank you for the informative and interesting sharing, Miss
Thank
Daphne.
you. I hope I
So,
didn't
all right,
understand.
ladies and gentlemen, it is time Q&A session. So, any question you can leave it on the comment section, and I will read it for Miss Daphne. So, while waiting for the others, so I have question. What courses should I learn or be good at if I want to pursue a career in cloud computing?
Yeah. Let me stop my presentation if I can.
All right, miss.
Okay, yeah. So I have bring up some of these links, right? So this is what the Cloud Skills Challenge looks like. It hasn't started yet. It starts on November 2nd. So we still have a few days, maybe try again next week. Put in your email address, country, agree, and then you can sign up for it. There's some FAQ, right? And if you go to Microsoft Learn, MS Learn, you can search for MS Learn. There are modules here, right? What I have recommended is Azure Fundamentals. So I'll click in one of these. Fundamentals means what I covered today, roughly. You learn in more details. There's some, sometimes there's a video at the top and then some text, and you go module by module, right? Oops, I went too far. So introduction, what is cloud computing? What is Azure? And there are some labs, right? Lab sessions. You don't even need your own Azure account. You just launch the lab. Inside the lab, you can use Azure for free. For free, you don't even need to sign up, right? But you need to sign up to store your session in MS Learn. And you go next, and you collect experience points, right? And at the end of the module, you get a knowledge check. And once you have finished all this, you can sort of go to certification, right? Yes, exam, AZ900, Azure Fundamentals exam. You can book yourself an exam. If you use the Cloud Skills Challenge, you can get it for free, right? You get the exam voucher for free. So select Malaysia. Yes, here. You see, it's $55. We're cheaper here in Malaysia. Or you can even select the COVID-19 and students for $15. Okay. Or if you pass the challenge, you get it for free. You can take the exam, right? Remotely or at a center. So this is where you go to learn. There's also, videos on Azure Friday. You can learn a lot on video on YouTube as well. But these are some of the learning materials. Okay. Let me see if there's any other questions.
So, next question is from Miss Alice. Hi, Miss Daphne. What kind of internship job scope does Microsoft provide?
Okay. I'm sorry, I'm struggling to get this away, but it's okay. Careers at Microsoft.com. Actually, I'm not very familiar with the internship, but I know that if you study Masters of Business Administration, you can get what we call an Aspire. Aspire at Microsoft is like an internship for the business admin MBA. But just go to the website careers at Microsoft.com and you may be able to find more information there. I think there is also an email you can write in to ask about that. Sorry, I am having technical difficulties here. It is not going away. Okay. Any other question?
Okay, next question is from Miss Gina. Hi, Miss Daphne. What advice would you give to someone who wants to be a cloud developer at Microsoft?
Advice. Sorry, yeah. Okay, so my advice actually is to do at least the Azure fundamental training, right? To understand all the cloud concepts. And if you can get the certification, it's not difficult to pass, all right? I've done the exam myself, it's not difficult to pass. Do this as part of your certification, and you can do a lot more certification. The more certification you get, the easier you get a job in Microsoft. Okay. And also just be curious. Okay, I have opened up my Azure portal here. I have created a dashboard. I haven't updated it, but here you can, for example, create a virtual machine, right? If you want to create a database, let's say MySQL database. Have you heard of MySQL database? You can even create, right, a database like this. So just create, and then there's a series of questions. You can use the default, right? If you don't want to, if you don't know the answers, you can just keep the default. It will just go next, and then you can create a database on the cloud. So I'm using my Outlook, right? So you can sign up for an Outlook account, and you may get the $200 free credit when you start. So just play around. If you have an application you want to try to develop, or you can follow a tutorial like 101, deploy my first application in Microsoft Azure. You can follow this kind of tutorial to have the experience of developing on the cloud. So my advice is get the certification and play around with the Azure portal with your free credits. Any other questions?
All right, next question. Can a not computer science students get a job as a cloud developer?
If you know how to code, yes, you can get a job as a cloud developer. So I also want to say that Microsoft is only one employer of the cloud technology. You can get all sorts of jobs, right? If you're a cloud developer. Before I joined Microsoft, I was developers at various companies, and in all these companies, I work in the cloud. So I deploy solutions either in Microsoft Azure or AWS or Google Cloud Platform. So any software company that actually almost every company now needs programmers, right? And typically you would deploy your solution in the cloud. Even if maybe currently the company may not be in the cloud, but they may want to experiment small workloads, try it out in the cloud. So once you get yourself familiarized with cloud computing, you can get an opportunity to work in a lot of companies. Yeah, I hope that answers your question. Any other questions? Sorry, I'm not able
Yeah,
to
the
see the
question.
chat.
It's okay, Miss. I will read for you. So, thank you for the lovely talk, Miss Daphne. From picture of data centers just now, I assume more data collected means more data centers are being built. What are the impacts of data centers on the environment?
That's a very good question. Thank you. Thank you for that question. Yes, you're right. We need to build more and more data centers as more and more people move to the cloud. Um, it is an important topic, right, for us to consider. And Microsoft, we also care about sustainability. So the things that we put research time into are things like how can we build sustainable data center, which means that how can we get into net zero carbon emission? So we have researchers whose job is 100% of their time looking into the ways of maintaining and building our data center with minimal impact to the environment. So this is a journey. It is not an answer that we have today, but it's certainly we have targets in the company to achieve sustainability goals in the future. And every day, as we move forward, we think of better and better ways to build our data centers with minimal impact to the environment. But it is a very important topic, not just for Microsoft, but for everybody on this planet to have a sustainable growth that, in the future, we still have a very nice place to live in, right? That's a very good question. Thank you.
All right. Next question is, what is your opinion about job opportunities for cloud nowadays, to be specific in Malaysia?
Sorry, come again. Opportunities for?
For job seeker for in cloud nowadays, and to be specific in Malaysia as well.
What are the job opportunities, whether it is secure in Malaysia? Yes, it is very secure. Yeah, it has a very good future. As I say, like Microsoft has this commitment to build a data center in Malaysia, but it's not just Microsoft. We have other companies like AWS is also planning to build a data center here, and I'm sure other will follow suit. We already have Ali Cloud in Malaysia today, and Huawei is building more and more data centers in the region. So yes, there is a lot of job opportunity for cloud developers in the near future, definitely. So I don't think there is a problem to find a job, right? As long as you're good at what you do.
All right, I think this is the last question. Is cloud computing for everyone, because some companies are still using the traditional way of storing their data?
Yes, that's a good question as well. Thanks for that. So the cloud transformation is definitely a journey. All right, it's not a final answer. Um, Different organization may be at different journey to the cloud, right? Different stage of their journey to the cloud. You may have, for example, uh, in Malaysia and in many countries as well, we do have one thing called the data residency regulation. So government may say that all Malaysian services, right, government services, our data should remain in Malaysia. There may be some requirements for this, especially for financial institution or certain essential services, right? There are many reasons for this, but it's to maintain a sort of sovereignty around the data. that belongs to Malaysia. So if we don't have a data center today in Malaysia, we cannot go to the cloud if we have this regulation in place. That may be one reason why some businesses would still have on-premises and not in the cloud. There are other reasons as well, but mostly to protect the data that they own, right? They prefer to own and operate their data and their hardware, everything together, and they may be worried about leakages of data. But some of these could be mitigated. Others may need time to resolve. So there is a journey, right? But maybe some new R&D innovation can be done in the cloud very quickly. So let's say you want to experiment in blockchain or Bitcoin. Some of this technology, I think in your past sessions in the ITI, you have covered, like even technology like IoT or AI, machine learning. You want to experiment, but you need to buy a lot of specialized hardware, right, to try out these things. And the R&D may not continue forever. You know, the R&D may be successful or it may fail. You don't want to invest all this hardware in case it doesn't go anywhere. You just want to try it out. So cloud is a very good way to do innovation and R&D. You do not need to commit to your hardware. So it can be a combination. Even with traditional businesses, you can say, yes, we will have our core business on-premise, but if you want to do innovation, the very quick way, the fastest way is actually leveraging the cloud technology. So there can be a combination of technology here, and R&D can be a very good use case to try innovation in the cloud. I hope that answers your question.
Yes, sure, Miss Daphne. So thank you for answered all of the questions, Miss Daphne. And a reminder for the participant, don't forget to fill the feedback form and your attendance. So if you all want to watch it and or watch the previous talk, you guys can go to PMFKI UMS YouTube channel, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, guys. So we would like to say thanks again to Miss Daphne for the amazing sharing, and to audience for active participants. Hopefully the information will be beneficial for everybody. Thank you for your attention. Goodbye and stay safe. See you next time.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. Stay safe. Take care.
Stephanie, can we have a picture together before we end?
Sure.
Hafiz, are you there?
Ya, sini. Ya kan, Saf? Ya, Saf. Kejap, kejap. Saya pun tengah berpikir macam mana mau lepaskan apa. Ya, siapa yang ambil? Saya yang ambil. Buka aja. Itu. Itu. Wah, snap lah. Jadi, kau apa snap? Saya ambil. Jadi 1, 2, 3. Oke, 1, 2, 3. 3. Oke. Thank you.
Alright, thank you, Miss Daphne.
Thank you, everyone. It's a pleasure for me.
That's a good sharing.
I hope so. I hope it's been useful. Okay, keep in touch. Take care.
Okay, bye-bye.